Hi everyone, Deb here, and today I'm going to just do a little reading, a couple chapters about the story of Jeremiah and Zerrubbabal. I know Yahweh has had me talk to you about Jeremiah several times, so he just led me here again, so I'm on it again. I'm going to attempt to make cheese today for the third time ever. And I'm not really going to pay too much attention to it being New Year's Eve. But if you are, I wish you a good one, a safe one. And hopefully one where you think about the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Okay. Because what's better than that? Not much. Alright, this video would be really great if you're, in your car and you're driving and you just want something to listen to. Because I'm just going to be reading a couple of chapters here. Now when Darius reigned, he made a great feast unto all his subjects, and unto all his household, and unto all the princes of Media and Persia, and to all the governors that were under him, from India to Ethiopia, of 127 provinces. And when they had eaten and drunken, and being satisfied, were gone home, then Darius the king went into his bedchamber and slept, and soon after awakened. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spoke one to another, Let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory, as to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with bridles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck. It gets really interesting. Hang in there. And he shall sit next to Darius because of his wisdom, and shall be called Darius his cousin. And then everyone wrote his sentence, sealed it, and laid it under King Darius's pillow, and said that, when the king is risen, some will give him the writings, and of whose side the king and the 3 princes of Persia shall judge, that his sentence is the wisest. To him shall the victory be given, as was appointed. The first wrote, Wine is the strongest. The second wrote, The king is the strongest. The third wrote, Women are the strongest, but above all things truth beareth away the victory. Now when the king was risen up, they took their writings and delivered them unto him, and so he read them. And sending forth, he called all the princes of Persia and Media, and the governors, and the captains, and the lieutenants, and the chief officers, and sat him down in a royal seat of judgment, and the writings were read before them. And he said, Call the young men, and they shall declare their own sentences. So they were called, and came in. And he said unto them, Declare unto us your mind concerning the writings. Then began the first, who had spoken of the strength of wine. And he said thus, O ye men, how exceedingly strong is wine! It causes all men to err that drink it. It maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child all to be one, of the bondman and of the freeman, of the poor man and of the rich. It turneth also every thought into jollity and mirth, so that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor debt. And it maketh every heart rich, so that a man remembereth neither king nor governor, and it maketh to speak all things by talents. And when they are in their cups, they forget their love both to friends and brethren, and a little after draw out swords. But when they are from the wine, they remember not what they have done. O ye men, is not wine the strongest, that enforces to do thus? And when he had so spoken, he held his peace. Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength that bear rule over sea and land, and all things in them? But yet the king is more mighty. For he is Lord of all these things, and hath dominion over them. And whatsoever he commandeth them, they do. If he bid them make war the one against the other, they do it. If he send them out against the enemies, they go, and break down mountains and walls and towers. They slay and are slain, and transgress not the king's commandment. If they get the victory, they bring all to the king, as well the spoil as all things else. Likewise for those that are no soldiers, and have not to do with wars, but use husbandry, when they have reaped again that which they have sown, they bring it to the king, and compel one another to pay tribute unto the king. And yet he is but one man. If he command to kill, they kill. If he command to spare, they spare. If he command to smite, they smite. If he command to make desolate, they make desolate. If he command to build, they build. If he command to cut down, they cut down. If he command to plant, they plant. So all his people and his armies obey him. Furthermore, he lieth down. He eateth and drinketh, and taketh his rest. And these keep watch round about him. Neither may any one depart, and do his own business. Neither disobey they him in anything. O ye men, how should not the king be mightiest, when in such sort he is obeyed? And he held his tongue. Now this this third one about women being strongest, this could stir up a little bit of emotion. Yeah, but hang in there, because you will definitely like the end. All right. Then the third, who had spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel, began to speak. O you men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath a lordship over them? Are they not women? Women have borne the king, and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of them they came, and they nourished them up, that planted the vineyards, from whence the wine cometh. These also make garments for men. They bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be. Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver, or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty? And letting all those things go, do they not gape, and even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her? And have not all men more desire unto her than unto gold or silver, or any goodly thing whatsoever? A man leaveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife. He stricketh not to spend his life with his wife, and remembereth not father, nor mother, nor country. By this also ye must know that women have dominion over you. Do ye not labor and toil, and give and bring all to the woman? Yea, a man taketh his sword, and goeth his way, to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers, and looketh upon a lion, and goeth in darkness, and when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished and erred and sinned for women. And now do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Do not all regions fear to touch him? Yet did I see him, and Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of the admirable Bartachus, sitting at the right hand of the king, and taking the crown from the king's head, and setting it upon her own head. She also struck the king with her left hand. And yet for all this the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth. If she laughed upon him, he laughed also. But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter, that she might be reconciled to him again. O ye men, how can it be but women should be stronger, seeing they do thus? Then the king and the princes looked one upon another. So he began to speak of the truth. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course. For he compasses the heavens round about, and fetches his course again to his own place in one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things. And the earth calleth upon the truth, and the heavens blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are their wicked works. And there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. As for the truth, it endureth, and is always strong. It liveth, and conquereth for evermore. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards, but she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things. And all men do well like of her works, neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness. And she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. And with that he held his peace. And all the people then shouted and said, Great is truth, and mighty above all things. Then said the king unto him, Ask what thou wilt, more than is appointed in the writing, and we will give it thee, because thou art found the wisest, and thou shalt sit next to me, and shall be called my cousin. Then said he unto the king, Remember thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou comest to thy kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart, when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees. And now, O Lord the king, this is that which I require, and which I desire of thee, and this is the princely liberality proceeding from thyself. I desire therefore that thou make good the vow, the performance whereof with thine own mouth thou hast vowed to the King of heaven. Then Darius the king stood up and kissed him, and wrote letters for him unto all the treasurers and lieutenants and captains and governors, that they should safely convey on their way both him and all those that would go up with him to build Jerusalem. He wrote the letters also unto the lieutenants and unto the lieutenants that were in Seleucia and Phoenice, and unto them in Lebanus, that they should bring cedar wood from Lebanus unto Jerusalem, and that they should build the city with him. Moreover, he wrote for all the Jews that went out of his realm up into Jewry concerning their freedom, that no officer, no ruler, no lieutenant, no treasurer should forcibly enter into their doors, and that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, and that the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews which they had held. Yea, that there should be yearly given 20 talents to the building of the temple, until the time that it were built, and other 10 talents yearly to maintain the burnt offerings upon the altar every day, as they had commandment to offer 17. And that all they that went from Babylon to build the city should have free liberty. I'm sorry, my tongue's getting tied. And that all they that went from Babylon to build the city should have free liberty, as well as their posterity, and all the priests that went away. He wrote also concerning the charges and the priests' vestments, wherein they ministered, and likewise for the charges of the Levites, to be given them until the day that the house were finished, and Jerusalem builded up. And he commanded to give to all that kept the city pensions and wages. He sent away also all the vessels from Babylon that Cyrus had set apart, and all that Cyrus had given in commandment, the same charged he also to be done, and sent unto Jerusalem. Now when this young man was gone forth, he lifted up his face to heaven, towards toward Jerusalem and praised the King of heaven, and said, From thee cometh victory, from thee cometh wisdom, and thine is the glory, and I am the servant. Blessed art thou, who hast given me wisdom. For thee I give thanks, O Lord of our fathers. And so he took the letters and went out, and came unto Babylon, and told it to all his brethren. And they praised the God of their fathers, because he had given them freedom and liberty, to go up and to build Jerusalem, and the temple which is called by his name. And they feasted with instruments of music and gladness 7 days. I love that. That is a great story. Truth definitely is the strongest above all. That being said, what I just read to you was from the Apocrypha, first Esdras. Esdras is Ezra. We have Ezra in our Bibles. This is the same author, Esdras, and I read chapters 3 and 4 out of the Apocrypha. Now, I told you at the end we were going to ask a question. And, like I always do, why was this taken out? Why did our church leaders tell us not to read this? This story is about a great victory of Yahweh through the simplest little thing. Or these guys thought they were going to, get rich by their wisdom. And they thought they were pretty hot stuff. And indeed, their stories were compelling. I mean, wine is pretty strong. The king is pretty darn strong. Women, I didn't know that women were that strong. But I guess women can be that strong. It hasn't been my experience. And then, but truth reigns forever. Because the truth doesn't change. I remember one time I was in a counseling appointment. And I'm hoping that this will just be more of a joke. But this is an illustration that truth really doesn't change. Now, this was like 15 years ago, okay? So, things have changed in our realm since this happened. But, that being said, I was in a counseling session, and the father of my children says to the counselor, well, it's like this with Deborah. You tell her the sky is purple, and she insists that the sky is blue. You cannot tell her any different. You can tell her the sky is purple from now until Sunday, but she will come back again and say the sky is blue. I wasn't allowed to interject during this counseling section, but I did actually interject at that time, and I said, that's because the sky is blue. Since then, our sunsets have changed and have much more pink in them and some purple. But if you would ask most people, they would tell you that the sky is blue. Anyway, the truth doesn't change, right? It doesn't. Maybe our world will start changing and stuff in some ways. It does all the time. Maybe there's some global warming going on, but I highly doubt it's because we're breathing and cows are farting. No, I'm not buying that. So again, now that you have heard some of the Apocrypha read to you, I want you to ask yourself if that's dangerous. Is it dangerous to learn about Yahweh and to learn more facts in this story? It's a wonderful story in Jeremiah, and I love it. But this in Esdras adds so much detail. And it really reminds me of when Yahweh was bringing the people out of the children of Israel out of Egypt. They left with gifts. So when he was bringing them out of this dispersion where they were taken to Babylon, and he was bringing them out of captivity, like he made sure that the king gave them wages and all the stuff that they needed to build the temple. And he gave them their freedom. So we are currently in dispersion. And I seriously think if we stand our ground, this same kind of thing can happen for us. And we can come out of this world and its system, and we may even come out with gifts, like they did out of Egypt, or we might come out with wages. Who knows what we'll come out with? But if we stand our ground and we do not take their experimental drug, and we do not bow to the King, but hold ourselves accountable unto Yahweh above that, I really think that what we will gain is our dignity. We need our dignity back. That being said, I just want to challenge you to allow yourself to read the Apocrypha, the apocryphal books, and judge for yourself if they're dangerous. I don't think it's dangerous to learn more about Yahweh. And when you read it, just ask the Holy Spirit to tell you whether or not this is of Him. I hope that you will enjoy it as much as I do. I hope that it will refresh your faith and bring you into a closer walk with the Most High. All right. If you've made it this far, I would really appreciate it if y'all would pray for us. It's been about a year since I've had a paycheck, and I could use some real estate deals or Yahweh to provide for me in another way. I have actually applied for some jobs recently, and due to my age, which I know I don't look that old on here, but I think they're hiring the youth before me because they don't have to pay them as much. So anyway, if you will, please throw up a prayer for me and my children that Yahweh will provide ways for me to make money until He pulls us out of this mess. And yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. If you think about it, hit the like button.